welcome back to the Roundtable. I'm Richard Nemo, and we've got some big news for Nickelodeon fans. Cyma Zarghami, president of the Nickelodeon group, has stepped down. That's right, the controversial head of Nickelodeon for so long is finally leaving the company that she joined almost 30 years ago. Now, with a career at the company that long, it's important that we take a look back and see what her time as head of Nick did for the network. And oh boy. Look, you know how I said she was controversial? Well, I mean really controversial. Yes, Nickelodeon may have given us the world's cheesiest corporate message about the situation, saying,
I don't have to tell any of you how much Cyma's meant to Nickelodeon and how leadership has helped lead the brand's success. After success over the course of her incredible 4 decades at the company, she is a true pioneer, championing Nick's growth from a niche cable channel early on to the groundbreaking global powerhouse it is today.
But anyone really paying attention knows what really went on behind the scenes. And as she steps down, more and more information will eventually come out to reveal the true Cyma, and it ain't looking too pretty. Now, first of all, let's take an objective look at Nickelodeon in the last few decades. In the 90s, it was safe to say that Nickelodeon truly was a powerhouse in animation. It had hit after hit, its own original style, and it was just an incredible culmination of creativity and art. Cut to now, and holy cow is it different. The current Nickelodeon has a few basic, common, and consistent complaints from fans. Complaint number 1, it has too much live-action shitcom shows. These shows, which were formerly spearheaded by Dan Schneider and others, are flat, dry, unoriginal, and increasingly annoying. Now, Nick has always had live-action content, but the live-action content it presents now is lazy and a shell of its former self. Complaint number 2, mistreatment of good shows and just its cartoons in general. Nickelodeon has flat-out disrespected and walked over entire animation crews and teams all for the pursuit of money. They are famous for canceling a show that isn't profitable right away, using the classic "it's not performing as well as SpongeBob" excuse. This is wrong and sickening, and I will discuss it more in detail later, but who do you think's fault this is? I'll give you guys a guess. Anyways, complaint number 3, relying too much on old content. This is the SpongeBob criticism. Despite being around for over 15 years since they first premiered, 2 of Nickelodeon's most prominent animated shows right now are Fairly OddParents and SpongeBob. After all this time, still, they've been lucky with other big hits like The Loud House, but even that show suffered issues behind the scenes. But all in all, Nickelodeon seems to be neglecting new animation content and relying on old dated hits, which are well past their prime. Now, I'm not gonna say those are all of the problems with Nickelodeon, not even close, but those are some of the bigger problems with the network right now. And believe it or not, these problems are all caused by one horrible CEO, Cyma Zarghami. Now, a majority of what I say from here on out as evidence is info from other sources, primarily the wonderful rise and fall of Nickelodeon and creator of Constant Pain, Micah Ian Wright, who has spoken heavily about the topics with his insider knowledge. So basically, credit where credit is due here. There's a lot wrong with Cyma, so I'll try my best to cover all of it. By the end of the video, you'll see how she is one of the worst CEOs of all time, maybe ever. So what did she do? Well, let's start from the beginning. Cyma Zarghami joined Nickelodeon in 1985 as a humbling scheduling clerk, but rose the ranks to become president of Nickelodeon in 2004. Fun fact about being president of Nickelodeon, it wasn't a position before 2004. It was created specifically for Zarghami. So she didn't fill any shoes, she put them on for the first time. Really, it was all downhill from there. In layman's terms, you can say that every bad decision Nickelodeon has made leads back to Cyma in some way. Remember when Nickelodeon went from a classic splat to a bland flat corporate logo? Cyma made them change it. She didn't like how the logo looked on business cards. Remember how Adventure Time was a pilot on Random Cartoons, a Nickelodeon show, before becoming a Cartoon Network hit? Cyma turned it down at the pitch. Oh, same with Phineas and Ferb, and it's not like that show went anywhere. Avatar was Nickelodeon's first big action anime-inspired type show, but back in 2000, a different show, Constant Pain, could have started the trend. This show centered on the action-packed lives of the Pain family living in this cool diesel punk world. It's regarded as one of the best failed pilots. Why was the pilot canned? Well, it was partly due to external forces like union strikes, but also fear of action shows after 9/11. You heard me right, fear of action shows. Cyma claimed action shows turn children into terrorists. Beautiful. So you may be wondering, why didn't Micah take his pilot somewhere else? Well, he literally couldn't. Contractual agreements made it so that if he tried to take the show anywhere else, he had to pay Nickelodeon $300,000 for the pilot and the small fee of 50% of his salary forever. So yeah, no surprise he didn't take that deal. Oh, and the whole union situation? Well, this quote from Mika explains all of it actually. She signed off on an anti-union attack on the 35 animation writers who had just signed their WGA cards and asked for pay equitable to our far less profitable live-action writing peers. Viewer to viewer, we were paid 1/6 to 1/10 what the live-action writers were getting paid on much lower-rated shows. Under Cyma's leadership, Nickelodeon illegally harassed the pro-union writers, then illegally fired or laid off 30 of the troublemakers, lied in federal court to obtain the names of the unionizing ringleaders, then blacklisted 4 of us, including me, by calling every animation house in Los Angeles and telling them not to hire us. So she famously screwed over and blacklisted union members just looking for equal pay. Classy. But they kept screwing over creators with pay. Let's have Mika explain this one again. Since the situation is so complicated, I don't want to get any facts wrong. According to him, creators used to get 2% of adjusted gross of toys, bed sheets, plush animals, etc. based on their shows. That meant Nickelodeon could deduct the cost of toy manufacture and shipping to the stores and nothing else. Then, perhaps upset about having to pay millions of dollars to Steven Hillenburg, creator of SpongeBob, Cyma's Nickelodeon quietly changed the creators' deal to adjusted net of toy revenue, meaning they could deduct the cost of anything they wanted from the earnings of their creators. Cyma mentioned your show during dinner for 6 at the French Laundry? That's $3,000 deducted from your creator payments. They've also held the line on what they pay artists and creators on a per episode basis. From what I hear, it's not unusual for a creator at Nickelodeon to work 60 to 80 hour weeks for less money per week than they would have earned 15 years ago. And why do they do this? Because of the dropping ratings, of course. The network was losing money, so they had to take it away from the creators. As Mika puts it, also more money can be funneled upwards to the executives in charge, to the shareholders, to anyone but the artists who create the work. That's beyond fucked up, and it continues to happen like this for years. Remember C.H. Greenblatt, creator of Harvey Beaks? He found out his show was canceled through a tweet. A tweet! And when he complained about it, the network made him apologize. Do you sense a pattern? Nickelodeon, under Cyma's leadership, consistently mistreated, disrespected, and flat out screwed over the artists and creators, all for the goal of bigger profits. Cyma ran the #1 channel for children's entertainment into the ground, turning it into a flat, hollow, corporate shell of what it once was. And after all of this, she walks away. No justice, nothing. All we can do is look back and gawk at the horrible decisions that were made and hope that someone comes into her position with a new outlook, plan, and creative passion. Goodbye, Cyma Zarghami. You will not be missed. But as always, what do you guys think? That was a pretty heavy video. There's a lot of information there. Do you hate her? Do you want to support her? Have you even heard her name before? You know, is this all new to you? Is it not? Let us know in those comments down below. We'd love to hear your feedback. If you want to consider helping out the Roundtable, you can check out our Patreon. There, you can get exclusive access to scripts and avatars and more, and if your name's shouted out at the end of the video, or you can get a little more money and a shout out at the end of the month. As always, if you can't get enough of the Roundtable, follow us at Roundtable Vids with our Instagram and Facebook under the same name. Roundtable YT is our Snapchat. If you enjoyed the video, please like it, share it, spread the awareness for this, subscribe to the Roundtable, and hit that notification bell for more great cartoon content like this. As always, guys, I'm Richard Nemo. This was your daily dose of cartoon news, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.